Speaking out the N word, black excellence is a scam. Did you see Vic Mensa talk about that?
I've seen different videos
Wait, did you see the Vic Mensa
about
one
that.
where Vic
No,
Mensa
I
was
put.
talking?
Do you have it?
Oh
Do you
yeah, I'll
have
play.
a?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
this was actually one of the better takes I seen on this because
I may have actually seen it. Yeah, pull it up.
all right, we'll watch it and then
Yeah,
we can explain.
yeah.
Let me see. How do I? Oh, I have to move it. Hold on. Young Moolah, baby. That's right. I was listening to Akon this morning.
Oh,
Akon's
I haven't heard Akon in a minute.
Akon's a man, yeah. Let's see.
I reposted something from 19 Keys the other day saying black excellence is the scam to replace black power. He said, what's wrong with black excellence? I guess to some that might be a controversial statement because we've been so deeply indoctrinated into the idea of black exceptionalism that we think one athlete, one actor, one president, one rapper represents meaningful progress for black people as a whole. But the studies show that black median wealth will reach zero by the year 2053 if the current trends continue. Millions of us live in prison slave camps making lids for Starbucks cups for like 50 cents a day. The hood is as fucked up as it's ever been. We got more millionaires than ever before. That shit is a scam. I think that's also the reason why we don't unify or strike and weaponize our labor in any of the industries that we dominate. The NBA, the NFL, the music industry. Because so rarely is one of us more than one step removed from poverty, so nobody's willing to risk it. We know we're being exploited by streaming. We make up all the labor and none of the ownership of the sports teams. Shit, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm not saying we shouldn't strive for excellence as a people or as individuals, but we cannot make the mistake of confusing one of us getting out the hood with the progress of the group. We also have to look at the success of individuals that's achieved to the detriment of the masses. We be celebrating shit just because a nigga got some money. It don't matter who the fuck had to die. Like if niggas run around making a bag off the prison industrial complex, are we cheering that shit on? My homie reached out to me after I reposted.
So he makes very valid points there, and I had a little argument with the wife about this because I always question black excellence because like we listen to these podcasts a lot, right? I listen to like Angela Rye has a podcast with Andrew Gillum and that woman from CNN that got kicked off, like kicked out the White House, I think. Very odd podcast. They have a sex offender and Angela Rye. I have my opinions. The whole notion of black excellence is it is kind of a scam because it number one, I'm always proud when somebody makes it out of college, makes it to college, gets a great job, does something. And it's not, but it's not a rare thing in our community for people to do. There's tons of black doctors that I know. There's tons of black lawyers that I know. Yeah. And I mean, it's great as far as like people being proud of that, but you don't. But it doesn't make like national news, like you know what I'm saying? So, like they prop up things that we all should strive for in life, right? Like excelling in education and doing all these good things. So I kind of am, torn between like, hey, are these individual accomplishments like all that there is, or like Vic Mensa said, like how do we move past that and look at the bigger picture? Because when how many people you don't see white people celebrating every time, or a whole group of white people celebrating every time somebody just graduated from law school or graduated top of the class. Like the guy, I never heard of the dude that shot the CEO of the whatchamacallit, the pharmaceutical company. Yeah, Luigi. But he was valedictorian, went to amazing school, all this stuff. Don't know nothing about him. But if I'll run across a post about some black kid that became valedictorian or graduated top of their class. Now, these are things that we should all strive for. But again, the community, I don't know. Like I said, it's like when you celebrate it that hard, it's like saying like, oh my God, they're like the exception.
Well, you haven't been there before, kind of.
But that's not the exception.
That's I think it's all just the span of time that's caused this to be the case, right? Like we weren't in the room for so long, and that's the problem. It's like going to a store for the first time that has nice shit in it. Your mom tells you don't touch nothing, right? Because the first thing you want to do is go touch it, right? Because you never experienced anything like that before. Like, wow, these toys look different. You just automatically know. this is a whole different situation. But I think that's just what it is. I mean, it's where we are today is amazing based on right where we've come from as far as a people, as far as like the setbacks and the collective things that were done. But ultimately, that's the ultimate problem, right? That was all curated. That didn't happen by accident. That all happened, systematically, purposefully. So
Yeah.
so we just haven't been in a space long enough. I mean, look, segregate. We're one generation basically, right? Removed from segregation, right? So, I mean, just think about that. Just having access to buy homes, go to the same schools, use the same, facilities, like eat in the same restaurant, So we're not far removed from that. So that's part of the issue. We just haven't been in a space for long enough with success to know what real success is. So it's a double, it's a double whammy, right? Like our vision of success is someone doing something that is normal because it's been happening for the past few hundred years, and
Not
masses,
even.
right?
You're really just talking maybe
Yeah.
the past 50 years.
Yeah.
In the
Well,
black
I'm saying as far as
community,
that's what I'm saying. But the other side, right? The other
integrated
folks,
black
yeah,
community.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
get it twisted. We had shit until they burned it down.
Oh no, absolutely.
Harlem, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
All that
Oh,
shit.
no.
They,
Absolutely.
It was there, and
It's-
then
it's
integration
no doubt about
fucked
it.
that up.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. And that's the whole thing, is that's part of the issue as well, right? Things that were lost that we did at some point have control over, that were taken, as when you got to that quote unquote plateau or place where you thought things were sustainable, and then it got stripped for whatever reason. That just set back a whole nother generation, right? So I think that's the ultimate problem. It's hard. The mental game is the strongest game there is, right? So it's hard when a whole system has been put in place and allowed for us to be in positions that winning is not something that we necessarily know what it really is, right? It's like how many billionaires are in the Forbes and how many of those are us, right? Our billionaires look a lot different financially than their billionaires, and that's a testament to the start in which, right, just in general, that some folks had. So that's, I mean, it's hard. It's going to be hard for us to really rationalize that or really encapsulate that, because we've got a lot more to do, and we're still trying to catch up. So
When does the empowerment start, though? It's like going back to that thing. Like, is it always like? When do you start saying, okay, cool, you graduated from law school or whatever, you got your top of your class, what's the next step? What's the next thing? Because they never talk about, what's so odd about it is that some of these things, and like I said, I've seen it where it makes some kind of at least social media news, right? But they don't talk about it. Like, how many black billionaires, like real ones, like the ones that are in business and whatever, do we talk about? How many, like I didn't know who Ben Carson was until they fucking, until he started becoming Republican, and he was all over TV talking. And I was like, oh, this is the guy who did this, there's so many, the hidden figures with those women that came up with the formulas for the spacecrafts and all that. Yeah. Like, we don't know these things until it's
the
not
general,
too late, but I do know that Shaniqua got an A on her Regents exam, and it made the Shade Room or something, and I'm like, black excellence. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, to me, it's just like, dude, I got an A on an exam once too. How come I'm not black X? But I guess propping it up is good, but at the end of the day, it's like, again, I don't really care.
Well, it should just be
much.
Right. I think that regardless of how successful you've been or gonna be or whatever the case may be, people understand, just like right and wrong. People understand levels of success, right? You don't have to be a genius to figure out, like, hey, wow, you've accomplished this. That's pretty cool. So I think we just have to take out the descriptor, right? It's just excellent, great job, right? Like, amazing, right? Like, this is
good job.
A person doing something.
Next?
Yeah, this person.
But
doing
it's not
something.
really excellent. I mean, when you said black power, it's replaced black power. And when you say black excellence, that's just like, Okay, but that's individual accomplishments. What are we doing as a community? There's
Yeah,
so
well,
many,
that's the thing.
that's the tough part. And that's the thing that people really don't think about. Like, okay, yeah, you became a scholar or a teacher, or you're a doctor, lawyer, wealthy entrepreneur. What's next, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, what how are you shaping and molding these people?
Yeah.
And then yeah, we'll see. But I personally just think it's like, to his point, yeah, like you said, like a scam, because it distracts from the bigger picture in my head. And as we start, we clap for these things like these individual accomplishments, but they only benefit the individual. And that's kind of like, check this out. That's why white culture is falling apart. And at least so the US, when I say white culture, the US is the only country with white culture, because there's so many, there's black culture, white culture, everybody's kind of separate, because slavery and them, like Europeans, not, and so many different types of Europeans being here, just let's call them all white, right? So that's where the notion of white culture comes from. And then obviously they have their own culture, like fucking country music, hot dogs, or whatever the fuck they stole from Europe and made it, whatever. So where was I going with this? Oh yeah, like now white culture is so individual based too, and that's why there's less, like, think about it. They celebrate Donald Trump. Oh, he's rich, he's so rich, or whatever. They're not celebrating, doctors and lawyers and educated people anymore. They used to, like back in the day, that this doctor found the cure for some shit, right? We grew up knowing, people looked at Dr. Fauci or whoever with admiration. Now they look at him as the guy who, killed everybody. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, vaccines are so bad, blah, 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 blah. Like that type of shit. So there has been a shift in the way white people think about, their own, thing. It's like white power has been replacing white excellence. I'm serious. Think about it. How superficial it is. Like, yeah, obviously a guy like Trump is representative of a white power structure.
Yeah.
But he's not educated. He's not
well, I mean,
he's not come on. He's not educated. Come on.
Well, I mean, he went to Wharton, really good business school.
You know why he went there? His father.
Well, that's a lot of times that happens.
He didn't get
it's
the grades.
Yeah,
he's not a bright. Do you think he's a smart individual? Do you think he's smart?
Well, I don't think, it's one of those things where I don't think he's stupid. I mean, I think he's very calculated, and he knows how to, manipulate people, which takes some intelligence. I mean, he has
Well,
he has social. He has a lot of.
He's a great marketer. Yes,
yeah.
but
he knows
the
how
real
to
people. The guys like
himself.
Yeah, but I think that he's
and it just depends on what you're looking for.
A strong
right?
man.
Like he's perfect for politics. Like he understands people, and he understands how to get what he wants. Which is a big part of politics.
It all goes along with how dumb people are getting too. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's it's widely known that a lot of doctors are not really good at finances or personal finances, right? Does that make them stupid? No, I mean, people just have different knacks for different things. But I don't know. You have to almost have like maybe some other things going on to be generally dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's. I think that the whole issue with this is, again, it's just like we don't look at each other as just people, and that's just there's a lot of pain, obviously, in our community when it comes from everything that's happened, things that happen currently, and all of that. And I think that keeps and I've seen some other videos, other folks talk about this, kind of like we're trauma bonded in a way, as Black people. We have a hard time, right, of taking that next leap of faith or that next step, because we're holding on to the past, and it's not a bad thing to hold. We always have to acknowledge the past and understand, where we're going, so we have to understand what the past is. But I think we do kind of sometimes, right? It's like we are people. We always wanted equality, and that's it. Like anyone else, right? Most people just want equality, and at the end of the day, people just want to be treated like people, human beings. So we should just. Everybody should just do that, respect each other for who they are, and try to do the best they can. And I think if we just stop attaching like race to everything, and it's like the whole Black History Month thing, like
No, God.
it's I just like, okay, what
You
we're gonna
Morgan
play a bunch
Freeman
of
now? Come on,
movies
man.
no, I'm just saying, but it's true.
I don't
though.
think it's a bad thing. And you don't
it's
have
not
to. It
necessarily
doesn't
about a
have to
bad
be
thing,
a
but
fucking
when
national holiday.
it
I think
does-
it's
but
something that we should honestly pay attention to.
But and every month, or there's a day for this, there's a month for this, there's a month for that. But again,
It's White History Month every fucking year.
well,
every day.
Well, again, and that's what I'm saying. We need to do a better job as far as bringing more of the history into the forefront on a regular. So and that comes from empowering and doing more things to bring that to the